Hello everybody, welcome to another After Midnight.
After midnight where anything goes.
True. And for Travis and us, and our youth and how we were coming up, you know that cliche, back in the day?
Back in the day.
We were not back in the day, we were back in the night.
I remember the day.
I remember the night. I was sleeping during the day.
Good. Yeah, but it's a wonderful show. And you're going to have a ball looking at it, and we're going to have a ball just being there.
That's
in the background. You might not see us, but we'll be there.
That's true. And Travis and I have been here for a minute.
2 minutes.
And we both chose, being in what we call the entertainment, because fashion modeling and film is the entertainment industry. And we met when we both were a lot younger, but we met and I was living in an area, Northwest Baltimore. My family was the second family of color to move in Northwest Baltimore. And my mother was a DJ. Joey Webb at WEBB radio station, and was also modeling in some of the first opportunities for people of color, our race, to get into the fashion world. And the studio that was then was Lorraine Walters, and a lot of the top ladies that were like John Mackey's wife, Jim Parker's wife, Lenny, and all those guys that we all knew. For getting into there. And then I decided on Wabash Avenue, a friend of mine owned an insurance company there, and he had a first floor, and I wanted to have a band rehearsal place for Renaud in the Junction. So I just leased the whole floor. And Travis and I had been hanging out, and we were talking about it, and we came by the place shortly after I got it, and I said, Travis said, man, you got any space in this big place? I said, I got plenty of space. I said, I'm trying to do some modeling out of this, because I was modeling then myself. And and we had another back room that was open for a dear friend of his that became a dear friend of mine, Arnold Mitchell, for martial arts. And so Travis took over with my mom, the mirrors which I walked into Travis' studio. I said, hey, this is Gemini Studios. And just clicked it off, and that started a lot of me going from Renaud in the Junction and having a place to record in the back and a place to rehearse.
Wait, let's go first here. just a little bit. Renaud's mother was a dog. I mean, she just gave you range, and you got just good information if you want to do things. I wanted to start a business, a modeling studio. And I was saying to Renaud, I said, hey, y'all got all the space. Hey, let's do some space. But anyway, they did let me come in with my modeling stuff, because before that I was mostly dancing. I've been in dancing for a long time. Peabody Institute for a little while, but mostly street dancing. And this studio that they had was unreal. The space was unreal. The space was unreal. So I started a modeling studio. A friend of mine, Arnold Mitchell, who had a karate club, I told him about it. He approached Renaud. And so we had a modeling studio there, we had a dance studio there, along with things that Renaud was doing. So, it was a mix. We had a ball on that. And that's my first entry into being in business. And it's been great. I really feel like my life so far has been, what has it been? A vacation.
Okay.
Everything's been good. You know what I mean? And everybody has little ups and downs. But for the most part, it's been wonderful. And this brother should sing all. Tell me, sing all good stuff when you sing it. And I know you probably still are some of those good days.
Oh, it's great days. Well, the singing, for me, I guess I started my career, I was at 13, I was doing some jazz nightclubs. I was doing jazz then up in New York City through some relatives who had a couple of clubs up there. And came back down here and everything I could find, like Travis, we were everywhere, that we could find a way to I guess to be what the entertainment business is to find a way to showcase your talents, your skills. And it was just opening up where us guys of color and the ladies of color had the opportunities, because it's all about opportunity.
Right.
And I decided that I wanted, after I got out of the military, I wanted to put a group together. And it had multiple names. But it finally wound up being Renaud and the Junction. And I was booming at that time. So I needed a place to rehearse, keep the group going, keep the sound equipment, because at that time we spent our own money investing in our careers. So I had all the equipment there. But being on stage as much as I was from working nightclubs, and I was working, oh gosh, Ocean City, all the eastern seaboard, all the way down to Florida. And that gave you, like Travis, modeling and dancing and doing stuff. It gave us opportunities to be seen by people who were in the marketing business. So one of the things I got out of that, Yago Wines came to United States. And they were marketing, and they needed a guy to be in that bullfighter outfit. Tight little leotards with the cape and all that stuff. And so they saw me on stage, and they asked me if I would do it, and I said yes. So they backed a lot of my nightclub performances, because while I was there, they would put my picture and put it. So from there, groups and places that were selling clothes like Beats, Burns, Bookie Wine Glass, and Merry Go Round, and all these places. And so I went back to, after I did all that stuff, I was also going back and forth to New York. Travis was in New York, I was in New York. I was doing a lot of modeling up there through the Garment District. And it's still, more and more I was performing, more and more people would come in to see the show and visualize and say, hey, can we use you for this, for that? So that started my modeling career, and then I got hooked up there with Wilhelmina and Zola and did a few things with them. But I was so much into the music, because I hadn't seen you for a while. We talked, we saw each other out. And you came to my, I think it was my 64th or 65th birthday or something like that. Matter of fact, I think it was my 70th birthday.
I remember the party. We had a party. I remember the party,
But looking at what you're continuously doing, and then us getting back together now to find out that you're transcending in something that I got into and I can't get out of it. And that's the work with the youth. And it's just beautiful, you know, when you meet friends and over the years you've worked and you've done these things and you still understand the importance of the future of us all. Not just black or white, but us all. And it's got to be a bigger, more commitment to the kids. To the
you know what thing? Right now I'm doing, I'm getting ready to do a master class. And my fashion right now with me, and I've been to so many countries. I mean, well, several countries we've been to. And I worked for contests who had 75 countries of girls, 75 girls from different countries around the world who we work with overseas. And so now, and my travels, I think back when I was a lot younger, and even like right now, a lot of kids can't afford to go to a modeling school. I couldn't when I was younger. That's $2,000 to $5,000. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a master class. And that master class is going to be the Travis Winkey theory and concept of modeling. And I'm going to do that for young people out here. I'm going to do it for my 50th anniversary, but at the same time, I'm just going to do it because it will help out a lot of kids who can't afford, you know, thousands of dollars to learn the process. They can learn it with me for much less price. So that's going to be my give back. I would like to say something. It's been such a long time.
Yes. We've been together, you know, seeing each other's work for so long. My career took off when I signed with Motown, and that put me out in LA and back up in New York again. And then my tours just before I got there and left Motown were overseas. So I spent a large part of my later performance years in Europe. Over there, I hooked up with some top agencies over there, and I've got some pictures from over there that is just devastating.
I had a couple of shots when I was an extra for a ballet. I was studying ballet. I was really studying grand theory of dance and a ballet company. And, to the march mechanic, there was a guy by the name of Rudolph Nureyev. He was a great Russian dancer. He was right at that point, he was the greatest in the world.
He was the greatest in the world.
And before my modeling, because it reminded me of it, I was an extra at the mechanic, I think, theater down there, and they were touring the world, and they came to Baltimore. And so we met Rudolph Nureyev, which was one of, I mean, anybody that meet him at that time was like, is this real? So we were actually on the set as little extras. And everybody in the cast, we wanted to get some pictures with Mr. Rudolph Nureyev. But everybody kept saying, no, you can't talk to him, he won't talk to you. And most of the cast was scared to talk to him, and he would go through it. Nobody would have anything to do with this man. But when he got on stage, he had him rocking, and he was a lead dancer. So I walked by his dressing room one evening, and he was sitting in the dressing room. And I stopped in there because I don't know about it. You know, he was a big star, but I was just, hey, hi, Mr. Nureyev. Can I come in and talk to you? Yes, Travis, you can come on in here and talk to me. It was a deep, deep accent, because most of the time I couldn't even understand what he was saying. But anyway, we talked and we talked and we talked, and for some odd reason, he got to like this little black boy, because I was talking, I was a little crazy, my little dancing and stuff like that. But the next day, early that day, I think it was on a weekend, and I went over there and asked him we were going to the park, Druid Hill Park, and it's a big park in Baltimore. And when he come along, we only going to be at this for about half an hour. And he said, yeah. Just people who were the big dancers could not believe that this guy would go with us to Druid Hill Park. And we took him to Druid Hill Park, and we had a ball, and he had a ball. I'll show you some pictures. But, so, I'm going to show you a couple of those. But anyway, you know, I was this young kid, really didn't realize how big and how great this man was. And I think that was good at that time, because I would just approach him like everybody else. You know, there was no thing where, oh, he's too popular, he's too this. We just talked, and I think he liked that. And so it was a great experience. We spent the day with him, and then the next day we went down and we talked a lot and stuff like that. But to meet a person like that in your life would be absolutely great. It's just like when I first met Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? It was that great, if not greater. So I wanted to say that, and that was right before I came in and had, with you all, get to your place. Then I really felt like I was big time. I said, now I have my own business, you know. But it was great. My dance, when I was dancing, I loved that. But I wanted to really get into the fashion thing. And so, from a go-go to fashion.
Well, you know, just catching up as much as we knew each other, I had no idea that you had the experiences and the interest in dance at that time. You were really talking about your fashion career.
Yeah.
And we were trying to take Gemini Studio
Right.
off for 3 men of color.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Travis, we were all doing a lot of different things, just trying to find our slots.
Right.
Something to do in the entertainment industry, because the entertainment industry was really starting to open up after Motown. Got the Ed Sullivan Show and Dick Clark to welcome us with those opportunities. And I had studied dance through a gentleman you may know, Wally Saunders.
Yeah.
And Wally Saunders, through Wally Saunders I met, and Nilo I met.
But why you got on Town Road?
Yeah.
Because I went there too.
Right at the, well, I don't know how long, when you went there, but I was there and I studied, that's where I met Pat Moran.
Yeah.
So Pat Moran and I took ballet and jazz dancing together from there. And through Pat Moran, I got hooked up with Divine, John Waters, Cal Schumann.
Oh my God.
Through Cal Schumann, I met Nuriel. My son's name is Nuriel. That's why I gave him the name.
No kidding.
At a party at Cal Schumann's, and then at a party in New York City. I met him. But dance for us, because we're movers. We are not, a part of our life is just a fluid of how we move, which is dance and modeling. When you can see how body language, you know how to use that body language.
A lot of choreography and stuff like that. I did it with groups and stuff. So go on.
That's all of it. It's all of it. The fashion modeling, you choreographed those shows brilliantly. And you're one of the first who took boring one-way, which I did in New York and a lot of places, and put movement. You brought in that dance experience you had. You realized the beauty of movement. If I can take some of these moves to let the clothes move as well. Because the design is how the clothes are moving on that frame, that body. It's not a mannequin now. It's a body. That's a sensuality, and that even not only for the ladies, but we open it up for guys, because guys used to be standing in the corner like a flower pot while the girls walk by. We changed that. But
speaking about John Waters, boy, I got some. Boy, that guy's he's a character. For real. He's a real character. And still doing it.
And they were young like us. So when we look at it, I mean, I guess I'm the oldest out of the group. I just turned 80.
Oh my God, so, no you're not.
And nothing's falling off yet.
All right.
You
better watch out. Okay, that's great though. I mean, that's really great. I think the life when we started, like when we was kids, like teens, and going to what we're doing now, we got information that will help a lot of these kids out here now.
For real.
And it's all about the young people. You know what I mean? So I'm getting ready to do like a master class. You know, I've been doing master classes at different places, working in colleges and high schools and middle schools, but with the young folks. And I think that I mean, because I talk to a lot of kids all the time, but together, boy, what can we do to help some of these kids think in the right way? You got kids out here right now that think, oh, I'm not going to live to be 30, or I'm going to have to go to jail. I never drank, never smoked, never did drugs in my life. But I was around it all my life. You know what I mean? Everybody else was doing it, but I just decided as a kid nothing.
Duh.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, I would like a kid to know that, so they can say, hey, I can do that too. They don't have to lie, cheat, or steal. You know what I mean? They can live a good, clean life. If they have people that done it and they can say, he did it, so I can do it too.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to give a word to a lot of, even like now, we've been doing it for a long time anyway, but now it's needed more than ever. And I'm really into to young folks and them trying to go in the right direction. I have I coined the phrase, living a model life. And that means being the best person that you can be. Live a model life. Everybody, none of us going to be perfect.
A lot of things that you and I were doing when opportunities, because life and living is about being allowed to participate. If you're denied the opportunities and allowed to participate, then when people turn around and say, well, how come you didn't do this, and how come you don't have this and you don't have that, it's because you were pushed aside. So as we gained opportunities through our experiences, improved ourselves through our skills and our talents, and we were doing that as kids in a society at that time really didn't allow very much in the arts. But then when I got into, you know, my love and my Native American heritage, my great-grandfather put me into horses, and I knew what it did for me. It also helped me at my time when I kind of like lost myself like a lot of top artists. Not overdoing it, but I did more than I should have been doing. But I had never made that much money. I had never been around that many stars. So I got into the rock and roll world, and I was rocking and rolling.
Rock and roll.
And enjoying it. And
I hear you.
like a lot of people, I'm not going to say this is not meant to say this is the road. But so many people, when you look at the bigger stars today, they talk about their lives, and they say, well, sex, drugs, and rock and roll almost killed me, but it also made me a millionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, hanging out in that group.
Right.
But it was through the horse that I started working with kids. And then that journey took me to Qatar and hooked me up with the World Children's Charity with Princess Di and Sarah Ferguson. And I helped them raise in 4 hours through horses, a desert race for the Emir of Qatar, $120,000 in 4 hours. So I was saying, if I can do that, I've done a lot with my music, but I never made $120,000 in 4 hours. I worked 4 hours and whatever. But, and through the acknowledgement and all that, when I got back, I said, let me start using my horse ranch as a way to take kids out of the environment of the city and take them to a place they don't really know. So when I started going like you did, I was invited by the Girl Scouts and the police clubs to go to the schools and give a lecture in the classroom. And when I started getting all these awards for that, I said, why don't we bring the kids out away from the city so we can teach them ecology, where the drinking water is, because I live right by the main storage area for the city of Baltimore, Pretty Boy Dam, and canoeing, hiking, putting them on a horse, because the number one thing the kids don't do anymore is they don't trust. So the first thing they do when they got to the farm was to say, do they bite? And they wouldn't get close. And I just told them the same way I've known that you talked about. You can't, if you can't get their attention, you can't teach them anything. So the horse has made it very possible for me to get their attention because they needed assistance. They were like this, you know. So when I got them to that, then I got them to say, okay, now that you have trusted me to listen to me enough to teach you something, how about you show me a little effort about what I just taught you? Show me you doing the same thing.
And I think some of them are looking right now. And listening to what you're saying. So keep on, keep it going, go ahead.
But the main thing that I try to teach the kids, because one of the things that you and I never lost was belief in ourselves and the patience in the time it took to bring the dreams and the work to a reality. So Project Arrowhead, I was able to get stars to come in who were celebrities like you and I know. Because if you were there and the kids see, oh, that's blank, 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 or that's blank, blank, or that's you standing with Michael Jackson, or that's you with Teddy Pendergrass, or that's you with whatever, then that conversation becomes a lot more important to them because they see you hanging out with the only people of color that they've ever come to see that made it to be that black billionaire, that drew up into those fields. So-so was in sports, but most kids were looking at the movie stars and the musicians. Because we weren't that big in sports at that time, at least when I was young, but we were coming. And through us sticking is, I think, the history of the entertainment industry, which encompasses so much: sports, music, theater, acting. It's what allowed us to pursue and not quit so that we could make a pathway for the kids.
Well, that's right.
And that's the kids, no matter what anybody wants to say. We are what we are, we've done what we've done. But the future of humanity, the future of mankind, are the kids. And their kids, and their kids. Yesterday's child, working with today's child, to make a better world for tomorrow's child.
The good thing with the whole thing is, they need to hear stories. Everything's about a story. And everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. And the great thing is that you've done things in life and you can put out to some people in general. Just let them hear your stories. Some of them will grab onto it and some of them won't. But some of them will grab onto that story and think about it. This could be me. I know that's what I did.
Well, you know, the storytelling of our culture
Yeah.
My Native American heritage, my African American heritage, my Irish, French heritage was through, in those days, there was almost no television. In the beginning, there was no television.
Yeah.
It was the radio. And not everybody had a radio. So you sat around with something we've lost, or the storytellings that came from our grandparents, our great-grandparents. So I knew my great-great-grandparents, to my grandparents, to my grandparents.
Listen, y'all.
And that's the stories that I got. They learn it for a lot less money. They can learn it from, and not going into anything racial, but a man of color.
Yeah.
Because for so many years, the first thing I didn't even realize that I could get in that because everything was blonde, blue eyes, and white. Yeah. And if they want to use one of us, they painted their face black. Yeah. Or if they were Oriental or Native American, they would use a Caucasian to play those roles. And thank God we've gotten out of that to the point now where you can open up a school like that. Because then they can see the pictures that you are a reality, not a thought, not a plan.
Yeah. But you know the good thing about that is, I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem even when I was going to Danny Diamond Dance Studios or any other dance studios when I was younger. And up until like right now, I've never had a real problem with somebody with a racial thing. I've been around it all my life, and I know it happens. But when I was going to the different schools and stuff at that time, I never had a problem because for some odd reason I could make friends and I got friends easily. And we were black and white going out. So in the daytime, I was with doing the dance thing, and it was all dances and that kind of thing. And it was mostly white and me. But in the evening, I was taking karate. And I did that for like years. And then it was all the black kids, you know what I mean? So I think we're gonna at some point get to where we have a great life together. And I think a lot of people are doing it now. And I think it's even get better.
Life and living is a we thing, not a me thing. And one of the things when I look at these stories is that you have to understand where you came from to notice the progress you've made. Where did I start? Now where am I?
Yeah.
And when I look at those particular things now, I don't know how much older I am than you. We've known each other a long time. But my childhood was very racial. There was no communication with white. I was in the first 13 integrated schools in Maryland. That's when I started to realize in the gym, never been played basketball, never walked into a shower, even seeing a white person nude. So when we started integrating, and because I took the arts when I went to the school, I took music, band, culinary arts.
Yeah.
That's how I found my home. The boys that I met in that school, families, had country homes out in Baltimore County. My Lady's Manor, that whole horse industry that when we look at being the second leg of the Triple Crown,
right there.
that's where it was. And so when I saw that, I said, I never knew this. I would like to know because it reminded me of where I was born in Virginia. We were raised in Suffolk. That's where the big families were. We had cousins, multiple families. But the beauty of all of that was that it introduced me to a whole nother part of Baltimore and Maryland.
It's great, man. Well, look, I had a ball.
wait a minute. Lean on us.
Lean on us. Look, we had a ball, and the next person.
That's the show.
That's the show. No, that's the show.
We had the ball on after midnight.
See y'all later. After midnight.
We gonna let it all hang out.
We're here in my studio with all our great talk, and a lot of people I've worked with around the world. Eddie Kendricks is one of my best friends. Whenever he came in town to get me, Ali dubbed me the Prince of Fashion. I It's just so many people that I worked with and done things with, like Susan Taylor, Mario Van Peebles, Sugar Ray Leonard, just a lot of folks we had a great time with. And we'll show you guys in the studio. Take a look. If you want to contact us, contact this show.
After midnight, boom, we gonna let it all hang out. After midnight,
I can't sing.
we gonna get out, jiggy on, jiggy,
We
jiggy.
had a ball.
And we're still having a ball.
Good night and
We
so
love
long.
you and thank you for all the people that were along the way that help us realize the dream, that's still doing those dreams here today.